An historic shakeup in Washington, echoing across the nation. President Trump firing FBI Director James Comey, citing his mishandling of the investigation into Hillary Clinton's emails, but stirring criticism and questions about the FBI's investigation into the Trump campaign's alleged ties with Russia. Here's ABC's David Wright with the fallout.
Tonight, FBI Director James Comey was out in Los Angeles for a recruitment event for new agents, unaware, it would seem, that in Washington...
Excuse my breath here, Wolf. I just ran out here to bring you this news. Coming out of the White House, President Trump
has just fired the director of the FBI.
Comey is out, abruptly fired by his boss, President Donald Trump.
You are hereby terminated and removed from office effective immediately.
As FBI Director, Comey was accused by the Democrats of helping Trump win. More recently, he's been a thorn in Trump's side, in charge of the high-profile probe into Russian meddling in the November election and possible links between Moscow and the Trump campaign. Comey's sudden departure now clears the way for the president to name his successor.
It's an historic day at the White House. The firing of an FBI director by a president is an extraordinarily rare event. It hasn't happened for nearly a quarter of a century.
There were a lot of Democrats over the course of the summer who would have been thrilled to see James Comey go. But now to see him go as he's now looking towards the Trump administration rather than the Clinton State Department, I think is something that people are finding quite fishy.
The president does not cite the Russia investigation as a reason for Comey's dismissal. Instead, the White House suggests Comey fell short of FBI standards. Trump called the Bureau one of our nation's most cherished and respected institutions, and today will mark a new beginning for our crown jewel of law enforcement. Trump spokeswoman Kellyanne Conway spoke tonight with CNN's Anderson Cooper.
It's not a cover-up. In fact, the president makes very clear in his letter the fact that Mr. Comey, on at least 3 occasions, assured the president that he is not under investigation. This had nothing to do with Russia as much as somebody must be getting $50 every time the word is said, I'm convinced.
Press Secretary Sean Spicer says Trump took the advice of the Deputy Attorney General, Rod Rosenstein.
He determined that the FBI director lost his confidence. He forwarded that recommendation to the Attorney General, and the president agreed with it.
By all accounts, Comey was taken aback by the news. Caught flat-footed is how one agent described it. He told us the news popped up on the TV screens as Comey was speaking, and suddenly everyone's phones exploded.
He was not expecting to be fired. In fact, the FBI director had talked about how he planned to complete his 10-year term, which has more than 6 years left on it. But now he finds himself a man without a job. That bizarre scene at the Los Angeles airport, paparazzi in the sky, recording him about to fly back to Washington.
Less than a week ago, Spicer said the president stood by Comey.
The president has confidence in the director.
Today, he wouldn't repeat that statement, not without checking with his boss.
And the last time you spoke about it, you said he did have confidence, but you're not sure to say that again now?
Well, I don't, in light of what you're telling me, I don't want to start speaking on behalf of the president without speaking to him first.
Over the past few days, Comey has landed himself in yet another controversy over Hillary Clinton's emails, the focus of so much turmoil during the campaign.
Will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help God. Thank you.
Testifying last week before a joint Senate committee, Comey was at pains to explain his reopening of the Clinton email investigation during the final 10 days of the campaign, after a new trove of Clinton's emails turned up on a computer shared by Clinton's top aide, Huma Abedin, and Abedin's disgraced husband, Anthony Weiner.
Huma Abedin appears to have had a regular practice of forwarding emails to him. She forwarded hundreds and thousands of emails, some of which contain classified information.
Today, the FBI admitted that Comey's testimony was inaccurate, saying only a small number of emails were forwarded by Abedin and that none of the forwarded emails were marked classified. A small number of them, however, contained information that was later deemed classified. Most of the others were emails the FBI had already seen, backed up from Abedin's BlackBerry. Comey's handling of that investigation became a huge source of controversy. First, last July, he angered Republicans by taking the unprecedented step of announcing the investigation was over.
We are expressing to justice our view that no charges are appropriate in this case.
Candidate Trump expressed outrage, but Trump gave Comey credit after the FBI reopened its investigation into Clinton's emails.
It took guts for Director Comey to make the move that he made in light of the kind of opposition he had.
Comey closed the investigation again 3 days before voters went to the polls, but the damage was done.
Look, this was terrible. It makes me mildly nauseous to think that we might have had some impact on the election, but honestly, it wouldn't change the decision.
When Comey and Trump first came face to face with each other after the inauguration,
He's become more famous than me.
Comey's job seemed safe. Fairly or not, Democrats blamed Comey for costing them the White House. Here's what Hillary Clinton herself told CNN's Christiane Amanpour just last week.
You know, if the election had been on October 27th, I'd be your president. And it wasn't. But I was on the way to winning until the combination of Jim Comey's letter on October 28th and Russian WikiLeaks raised doubts in the minds of people who were inclined to vote for me but got scared off.
But tonight, Clinton's former campaign manager, Robbie Mook, told Cecilia Vega the president should not have fired Comey.
I think we're all so blown away at the gall that he would have to do this and how it appears he is simply holding himself above the law.
So this is about the future of the FBI's investigation into Russia. That's what concerns you the most?
That's what deeply concerns me. Under our system, the president is not above the law. He can't simply throw out somebody who's investigating him.
Voters were aware of the Russia probe before the election, but they were not aware of the possible involvement by Trump associates, including the Attorney General, Jeff Sessions.
Therefore, I have recused myself in the matters that deal with the Trump campaign.
That's why Democrats now say it's not right for the Attorney General to recommend firing Comey. The FBI director serves at the pleasure of the president, but his 10-year term gives him independence and power. The last time an FBI director was fired was nearly 25 years ago, 1993, the first year of the Clinton administration. Bill Clinton ousted William Sessions over ethical concerns. Tonight, Democrats are renewing their calls for a special prosecutor to take over the Russia investigation.
Were these investigations getting too close to home for the president?
Tonight, the president mocked crying Chuck Schumer for his sudden fondness for Comey. Hashtag drain the swamp. Members of both parties are now calling for a select committee in Congress.
I've always believed that we should have a select committee.
Other Republicans are falling in line with the president, saying it's his prerogative.
I was surprised. I didn't see it coming, but it's a decision the president's made.
The rule of law and the chain of command are not necessarily one and the same.
I think for most Americans, this is a very puzzling situation. James Comey has been attacked and praised by both parties. So what are the American voters supposed to think?
We still don't know what Comey thinks of all this. He's now headed back from L.A. on the FBI's private jet. I'm David Wright for Nightline in New York.